bit of meat. All right, well, good morning, everyone. Hang on.
Oh, hey.
Now, I'll tell you a few things about the Devils. First of all, the Devil gets his name because of the terrible sound they make towards each other. Now, this name came about because when the Europeans first come to Tasmania, they heard this awful sound at night. And they were pretty scared by the sound, so they wanted to come up with the most scariest and terrifying name they could, and they chose the name of the Devil. Now, at the time, they named them the Tasmanian Devil, thinking they were only found in Tasmania, which wasn't quite right, because they were found all over Australia up until about 3,000 years ago. But the reason they disappeared from the rest of Australia was about 5,000 years ago, the Aboriginals brought over the dingo. And once the dingo got to Australia, it had a pretty wonderful time, because most of our large animals, like the Devils, didn't have enemies or predators, so they leave their babies behind when they go out and look for food, and the dingo thought this is a pretty easy way to get a meal. Now, the Devil is a marsupial, so it's the same as a kangaroo, possum, koala, a wombat, in that it's got a pouch, and that's where its young are raised. But the only difference is, to the rest of them animals and the Devil, is that the Devil's a carnivore. He eats meat and nothing else but meat. Now, when the Devil mum gives birth, she'll give birth to about 20 babies at a time. But there's not a high survival rate because mum's only got 4 teats. So out of the 20 or so that are born, they all have a race up inside the pouch to a teat, and the first lucky 4 that get there are the ones that'll live. Now, when they're first born, being a marsupial, they're very premature. They're about the size of a grain of rice. And they're unrecognisable as a Devil because they're born without fur, without claws, without teeth. Their eyes are still shut. And they can't hear yet, they've only got a sense of smell. But they grow really quick. Within 15 weeks, the size of a grain of rice to the size of a small puppy dog. And by then, they're getting a bit big for mum's pouch. They're starting to drag on the ground a bit. So mum will take them out of her pouch and she'll put them in a den. And they'll stay in the den up until summer, which is about 3 months. Then by then, they're about half the size of mum. They're eating nothing but meat, big sharp teeth, so mum will kick them out and tell them to find their own house to live in. Now, Devils are mainly nocturnal, which means they like to come out at night. But the thing about Devils is they love their tucker so much, whenever they can smell it, they're up. Now, even though the Devil is a meat eater, he's not a hunter. And this is because Devils just aren't built for hunting. They're not a really large animal. Their eyesight's terrible. And they're a bit slow and clumsy. So they're best described as a scavenger. They'll run around the bush and they'll eat any animal which is dead or injured. And they're not fussed what it is. They'll eat anything from frogs, snakes, lizards, birds, other devils, wombats, possums, kangaroos. And the thing about Devils is they just don't eat the meat, they eat the lot. They eat all the fur, the skin, the scales, the feathers, all the eyes, the hearts, the livers, and even the bones and the teeth. Because they eat all these bones, they need some pretty strong jaws, and their jaw strength is the same as a full-grown 20-foot saltwater crocodile. Now, Devils don't live for long, only about 5 or 6 years. The Devils are in a bit of trouble at the moment. The last 12 months they've been classed as an endangered species, and this is because of a disease that's getting around the wild Devils, and it's knocking them off pretty quick. But there is a bit of hope left. We've kind of stepped up managing the Devils, and we're trying to catch as many clean and healthy Devils as we can, so we can start a captive breeding program and try to boost the numbers up, so if the Devils do die out from the wild, we'll have some that we can replace them with. Now I'll just move up to the next ones and give them all a feed.